Right, hi there, Nigel of NBW-Graphics here, and I'm with Joe Blair, YouTube channel, Keeping It Real in Thailand.
Keeping it real in Thailand.
Hi all you Keeping It Realers out there in Thailand. Joe Blair here. How you doing? How you doing,
Right.
Nigel?
Fine, thanks, and thanks for being here. I shall start off with the usual question, if you don't mind. And I gather you've been living here for 20 odd years, so what brought you to Koh Samui? And furthermore, what made you stay for so long?
Well, let me loosen up the vocal cords here for this one. It's going to be a long story, so grab a beer. Well, I was working in the cruise ships as a DJ for Princess Cruises, traveling around the Caribbean, and befriended a guy in there named Dave, who lived in a place called Pattaya, in Thailand, which I never heard of, and he would just tell me all these stories every time that we'd meet in the crew bar, or or something like that on the ship, or he'd come in my DJ bar. We'd talk. And he always would talk and rave about this place called Pattaya. So he planted a seed in my head. Definitely planted the seed. And that's all I was thinking about. So once the contract was over, 6 months later, I immediately booked a flight to Thailand and Pattaya. And I ended up in Jomtien. Jomtien, that's where he was staying. He bought about 4 condos in the Jomtien Tower complex, up around the 18th, 25th floor, and so he didn't give me one, but he let me stay in one of the condos he had for free for about 3 months. It was amazing. It was fantastic. And I got so used to liking it in Thailand, especially there. At that time, Pattaya, back in the 2000s, it was heaven. You're like a rock star there. It was absolutely incredible. So I didn't want to leave, of course, and I answered an ad in the Bangkok Post that where these people from Samui were looking for entertainers to come here and entertain. So I answered it, and a guy named Richie Newton, who was the Elvis impersonator of Asia, Thailand particularly, said, yeah, okay, come on out, we'll pay for your flight, and come on out, and and we'll get you going. So get on the flight, and I come out to Samui, and as I was in a taxi getting out in Lamai at Siam Bar and Grill, and in front of me, the taxi in front of me, this is like a side story, happened to be the Ovada band, first time coming to Samui too, and going into the Siam Bar and Grill, which Paul Hawkins had hired them, and it's all family. We go all the way back, man. It's that far back. Excuse me. So yeah, and rest is history. So I did that for a while, and then I had to go back to Canada, and I think I went back for a year or so, or a couple of years. I came back after the tsunami, I remember that, and I ended up working for an American guy here. So I got a work permit for him, and I ended up building a studio up near Nam Muang Waterfalls, a massive studio, and I ended up on his work permit and everything, working for him for about 7 to 8 years, long time. And then during that time, I decided to start my DJ business, a wedding DJ business. And that became very successful. I was making very, very good money. If there was anyone else doing it at that time, I'm not aware of. But I literally solicited all the 5- and 4-star resorts on Samui and got my foot in the door. And basically, I was the only one being hired to do these Western style weddings, and that's what kept me here. And then blah, 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 blah. You know, I play music too as well. And then the COVID happened, and then he pulls the rug right out from everybody. And here I am,
Still hanging in here.
still hanging in. Things are coming back slowly. We're picking up a little bit. We get the ball rolling again, and happy days are here again. It's smiling skies, and happy days are here again. I hope so. Many times also I played at the Viper Room back in the day. I think Rob can attest to that. Did a lot of great shows here. And the problem is they can't really show a lot of it because it's all music that's copyrighted. You know, I did.
This is what happened to the evening that I filmed you with the intention of putting it on YouTube for my channel, and then I realised there's so much copyright here.
Yeah.
So I just scrubbed around the idea.
There's a way around it. You can show the video of me playing, but you have to go to the YouTube channel, and where it goes the analytics, you scroll down to the left, and there's a whole file there. You can grab YouTube non-copywritten music. This is music you can use for your YouTube videos. So you just find something rock and roll and put it overdub it on it, and you can use it. But you can't play the copywritten music. They'll knock you off. So
I gather there's something unique about this island, how it is geographically, and a certain timeline, or
well, apparently there's these lines that bisect the Great Pyramid of Cheops. And Pyramid of Cheops also bisects the Orion's Belt. Basically, Orion's Belt is a copy of the Pyramid of Cheops. If you go to YouTube sites like Brian Forster, you can search up all this kind of Egyptology. And but anyway, they did this bisecting line that goes through the pyramids. Actually, I think goes through Easter Island and a few other kind of spiritual places on the planet. And apparently Koh Samui is on one of these lines. I have to relook it up and make sure. Otherwise, I'm giving you a line myself. But anyway, you can fact check that. It's fact check.
Interesting.
Yeah, I heard this a long time ago, or read about it a long time ago. But you know, many beers later, I might have. Maybe the lines moved. I don't know.
Well, in your time here, you must have found quite a few places off the beaten track that the average tourist never gets to see.
Absolutely. If you can I say my YouTube channel?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, my Keeping It Real in Thailand YouTube channel. I have many videos of exactly that, off the beaten path, up in the mountains, in the oceans, and a lot of biking trails. You know, I cycled almost every. I can't say all of them because I just did a video last week where I discovered a new place. It's near Naton, and you just go, instead of going right or left, you go straight into the back where the waterfall is. And I went up there, and there's a big old zip line place, and I've never been there before, and I was like, wow, a new place. So there's always something, you know. You can always find something. I'm not going to say I've been everywhere, man, but
certainly
quite a lot, yeah.
More than most of us.
Yeah, and I always encourage tourists, like, definitely to go off the beaten path and get out there and you know, helping out the little mom and pop stores and the little bars that just don't get the tourist flow. You want to help out the locals, and that's the best way you can do it. Really, you know, get off the beaten path and visit these places. Like I bought a couple of beers and some food at this little country store, you know, and it gives them some money, you know. It's nice, just great. Get away from all the tourists. Get away from the hordes.
Well, as you probably remember, I lived here for a while, well, 7 years in fact, and I was kind of proud of the fact I wasn't a tourist, but time has a way of coming around to bite you in the ass, and here I am.
Just did.
back here on holiday, and I'm probably a tourist.
Yeah, you can certainly be. Well, that's exactly the phrasing, the terminology I used, filming my last video for my channel. I use that. I felt like a tourist. I felt the area I was in, because I wasn't there before, and I felt like I was on the mainland. You know, like wow, I've never been here before. So it's kind of a juxtaposition to put yourself into that position. You're local and tourist. Well, we see it through both eyes. You know, tourist and expat living here in Thailand. So
Yeah.
we definitely know a lot more than the newbie coming here. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So I don't understand all these YouTube channels where you got a tourist that's been here for a week. They got 80,000 hits. I get like what, 5?
Don't think I'll get any.
Yeah.
Mind you, I'm only doing it for a means of mental exercise and passing the time in my retirement.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to get monetized, that's for sure. I mean, it's always good to not do something for free. And think of all the service you're doing for YouTube too as well. YouTube benefits immensely from this. So it's good to get a little payback, you know, once in a while.
Yes, why not?
Yeah.
I mean, especially in your circumstances.
Yeah. Still gotta work. Working, playing music, all that stuff.
Well, you've got quite a repertoire, haven't you? The YouTube, you're a musician,
DJ,
yeah, DJ.
builder.
Jack of all trades, master of
Yeah,
none.
our Renaissance man, as they used to call us, the Renaissance man. Yeah. Yeah, I was an actor in Vancouver for 15 years. Full-on union member in the business, working with the big stars, the big names. You name a name, I'd probably work with him or her.
What are
And
the, for whatever reason, what are the more memorable events in that profession for you?
I think there's a couple. The time I was alone with Robin Williams for about 15 minutes. I was on the set of RV, and I just come back from Thailand, cycling. That was a thing I used to do too. I used to bring my Brody from Canada, mountain bike, and back then there were no mountain bikes in Thailand. So everyone was like, you know, I'd be doing jumps and everything, and they couldn't, like, wow, you're doing jumps? Yeah, it was that far back. You could rarely see a mountain bike back then. They were all bikes like this, and so I used to bomb around Pattaya. But getting back to the story, anyway, Robin and I met, and he was asking me why I was so dark, and you know, I just came back from Thailand and I was cycling, and he goes, "Oh, you were cycling, you know?" Turns out he's a huge cyclist, like massive cyclist. That's his favorite thing to do when he was alive. He loved cycling. So when the wardrobe truck came to, or the circus truck came to pick him up, he waved it off, and we just ended up talking for 15 minutes. It had nothing to do with acting. It was just one-on-one with Rob, man. It's my special time. Another time was with Schwarzenegger on set. We were sharing some food at the craft service. When the movie, The Sixth Day, I got to shoot him in the stairwell. So I was on set for like 6 days with him, working with Arnie, my boyhood idol, you know, for weights and everything. And so we're standing there at the croissant table. I mean, at the crafty table. And he's picking up a croissant, and he dropped a piece on the floor. And I actually watched him put the croissant down, and he bends down and he scoops the croissant into some paper, puts it in the garbage. I've seen lesser actors do less. You know, Steven Seagal, you know, one of the Tads is giving him a bottle of water, looking at it, and the Tad goes, opens the water for him. You know, that kind of crap. So it's always, for me, it was never really the getting the part or whatever. For me, it was the observation of working with these big name actors, and how some of them were just a-holes and some were just like everyone else. You know,
See them
nice.
for what they really are.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman was another great guy. He was a super guy. Got to work with him in 2 films, which was great. And he actually remembered me in the second one, came up and said hi. And again, Thailand always, he's a big sailor. He loves sailing. So I was saying, you got to come out to Thailand, go to Phuket and do some sailing and stuff. And then, you know, so I tried plugging. I always plug. I remember going back to the sets because I was going. You know, I've been here all these years, but I used to go back and forth. I'd stay out here for 4 or 5 months and then go back and work in the film industry, and because you make good money, and then come back. And almost all the crew, I'd tell, at least every time, especially on Stargate or Battlestar Galactica, about maybe 10 of the crew would come out to Thailand. So hey, I tried. I got Thailand some business. So get some kit back on that. Yeah, remember all the crew, you know, especially when you tell all the single guys about Pattaya, their eyes go big as saucers, you know.
Their first time out here, that must have been a little bit of a life changer for them.
Oh, yeah, well, it was for me. I mean, what I fall in love with about Thailand is I guess the simplicity of it. It's just if you want to make it simple, it will be simple. When I first came out here, I had the acumen of being back in the Western. You know, I had like 5 different jobs back in Vancouver, and when I came out here, I kept that acumen up for the first maybe 6 months. You know, or maybe more, maybe a little longer. I was trying to do, you know, 5 or I just couldn't not just chillax.
Yeah.
And nowadays, I am so chillaxed compared to what I used to be. Like I still try to fit as many things as I can into one day, but not like when I first came here. That was crazy, you know. So
yeah, that's according to what kind of discipline you've been in, and of course if you're a ex-serviceman, you've got that go for it attitude towards work, and then all of a sudden you're retired here and you've got literally time to kill. And I've seen a lot of people who get so bored they just go and socialise, and the next thing they're on that slippery slope.
well, that is it's a you know, surprisingly, the average age of someone dying in Thailand, a Farang, a tour expat, is 63. That's quite shocking, actually. But it is. If you look at the statistics, it's 63, and that's pretty young.
Well, I'm on a bonus then.
Yeah.
Bonus by 10 years.
Yeah, I'm 60. I just turned 60. 2 weeks ago. Yeah. You know, man. And I'm still just as busy as I was when I was 50, 40 something, 50. You know, an average day, you get up, I do my weights, I go for a run or a cycle, and that's every 5 days a week. And that's discipline. There's no breaking that. That's ironclad. That's number one, because that's the discipline. You know, that's the it's what's going to keep you, you know, all your joints lubricated, and your body's not going to go into disarray. So to me, and eating very, very healthy is number one too. Is second priority. Eat healthy, and you got to watch this stuff. You can't. If you go at it hard every night, well, it's going to go hard at you.
That's right.
That's right. You know, you're not going to be drinking from the bottle anymore. The bottle's going to be drinking from you. You know, that's from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
And not far away from us sits a gentleman who purveys such liquids to earn his living.
Yeah, that's right. He hates hearing speeches like I just said. It's a killer. Look at me on the soda, you know. So, but I like to. I've been a weekend alcoholic my entire life. You know, my mom nicknamed us that when we were kids. You know, I grew up on military bases all my life. My dad was in the 412 VIP Transport Squadron, Ottawa, CFB Uplands. I lived on Greenwood, North Bay, Cold Lake, Alberta, Edmonton. back to Ottawa, and loved it. Never changed. That was wonderful life, military life. I got to fly as a kid on almost every single military craft I could take passengers. You know, I never got to fly in the jets except Falcon 50, which was pretty cool. But you know, it's that whole part of my life was wonderful too as well. So, any expats, any ex-military dudes out there, base brats as we were called, salute ya.
So, when they had like air shows, etc., you must have been at the front of the queue.
Oh yeah, I got we had one in Abbotsford in Vancouver, and my buddy and I went to see it, and I was schmoozing with the B-1 bomber pilots, the captains that were in the nose. You enter the B-1 through the nose strut, the front wheel, the strut wheel, and it goes right into the cockpit, and absolutely no one allowed in there. But I was talking to him for a while and sure enough, he showed me up into the, just let me go up and poke my head in and take a look. It was awesome. You know, and the specs on that thing, you don't know anything about, they call it the bone for one thing, it's one of my favorite. I know it's a bomber, it brings death and destruction, but it's still a beautiful plane, jet. It's amazing, supersonic, hypersonic, supersonic.
Oh.
He's telling me, like, you know, you see that speck in the distance? 2 seconds later, you're dead, because it's like gone, man. Big thing. And then those things were $1 billion and a half each. Yeah, $1 billion. And they got the new one out now, the B2. I think the B2A or whatever it's called, and that thing is something like I think it's doubled $2 to $3 billion or something like that. It's amazing.
You can imagine what their defence budget must be.
It's up there. It's quite up. More than the Canadians. But apparently Canada's getting F-35 Raptors. We're getting a whole bunch of them, a couple of squadrons of them. So once again, back with the States. And even here on some in Thailand, 7th Air Force Squad, which is just a little bit out of Suratani. They fly. I think they fly Saabs. Every once in a while, you'll hear jets up in the air, way up there, and you won't be able to see them. You never really do. They've got I think they've got. I don't think they have a squadron of them, but they might have. Geez, I don't even know how many they have. 6 or 7 maybe of them, and they fly. Now, I might be wrong on that. They might have more, but I've only heard one always flying. So.
Well, that's
might land on their aircraft carrier in Hat Yai. You know, Thailand's got an aircraft carrier, right? Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, they do. They got one in Hat Yai. It's anchored out there. You can actually go and see it. That would be an interesting video. Let's see the aircraft carrier. Yeah, an aircraft carrier. Why? Be like having a submarine here.
Whereabouts?
Roll down the window. I'm trying to.
Yeah, whereabouts is that based?
No, they don't have a submarine. Thank God.
No, the aircraft carrier.
Oh, it's in Hat Yai. Yeah, it's a little. Well, it's near there. It's near Hat Yai.
Interesting.
Yeah, you can look it up on Google and Thailand's aircraft carrier. Boom. That'd be kind of interesting. So, what about you? We're gonna talk about you too, or no?
If you want to,
yeah.
I don't mind.
Let's talk about you. You. Oh, me. Yap.
Right. Where would you like me to start?
When you were in the womb.
Ah. Right. I was launched into this world on the 2nd of November 1949.
49.
Unbeknown to a lot of people. But my mother is ex-RAF from the war days. My father, serving member at the time, Royal Navy, who's in the Fleet Air Arm.
What did he fly? Biplanes?
And well, funny you should say that.
Fought the Red Baron, did he?
He was he served on the Ark Royal during the Second World War II,
Ark Royal, good ship.
where they flew
The swordfish.
the swordfish
That's right.
that was instrumental in sinking the Bismarck.
The first one hit the rudder, knocking out the rudder, and the Bismarck couldn't steer itself. And then the rest, they finished it off. I know my history. It's too bad it sunk the hood, though.
Well, Churchill got his own back,
Yeah.
or the Royal Navy, on behalf of Churchill, got their own back.
Yeah, they certainly did, yeah. Did they get the Scharnhorst, too? The sister ship of the... I'm trying to remember if they sunk that one, too. I think that was sunk in...
In a fjord, wasn't it?
Yeah, in the fjords, yeah. They got the Scharnhorst.
Probably the RAF or something to do with that.
Yeah. They were all... It's amazing that a lot of these ships, even like the Yamato, the largest battleship ever made, the Yamato, on its maiden voyage out of Japanese harbors, was sunk by the U.S. Air Force. You know, never engaged in a single battle. Just quite largest battleship. Massive battle. Nothing even today compares to it. So, yeah. Yep, never got it. Imagine that, huh? You build the largest battleship in the world, sail it out. Woo! Dope!
All right.
A lot of lives lost in it. So.
I'll have to look that one up, see if I can get some history on it.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah, sorry, continue. Oh,
Yeah,
I just
so-
totally stole that one again.
with my father being in the Navy, he was on Fleet Air Arm, so he was not all the time, but mostly shore-based at air stations. And now and again, he would get a 2.5-year commission on board a ship, and we wouldn't see much of him. But every couple of years, we'd be moving to a new air base. Hence, I would have to join a new school, etc.
Yep.
So they threw a suggestion my way, which I accepted, and that was I go and join what was known as the Royal Hospital School, otherwise known as Holbrook, due to it being just outside the village of Holbrook in Suffolk, which is outside of Ipswich, and that's a Royal Naval boarding school.
Okay.
So I joined that at 11. They didn't succeed in totally brainwashing me, so I thought I'm not going to join the Navy straight from here, because that meant joining at 15 years of age. I'll wait till I'm 16. That way I got away with going to Ganges and training, doing basic training there for 1 year, whereas my alternative route took me to HMS Raleigh, where I became a 16-week wonder. In 16 weeks they gave us the same training which a boy seaman at Ganges took a year to do.
Wow.
And from there
Pretty intense.
I went into the fleet, so to speak. First ship, HMS Dainty, a daring class destroyer, pennant number D108, and that took me and gave me my first taste of the Far East. And well,
Whereabouts in the Far East? Hong Kong?
We,
something like that?
started off first of all we got redirected to the West Indies because there was political unrest there, so we went and dropped anchor in the bay, and the wardroom had what we call cake and ass parties. In other words, cocktail parties for all the dignitaries. They turned up in their refinery, while Jolly Jack had a different modus operandi. We went ashore and try and put finance into the local female population by way of socialising.
So did I in Pattaya.
Then from there we went to Mombasa in Kenya. Mombasa, we hopped across to Singapore, and that's where I saw for the first time, which I've heard many stories about from the old salts, was the katoi, otherwise known as a kai tai, the lady boys. And I must admit, up until that stage of life, I'd never seen one, so I was absolutely astonished that they're actually so beautiful. But old salts wised me up, so I never fell foul of one of those. And from Singapore we went to Hong Kong. Then about 2 years later I got a draft back to Hong Kong and was based there for 15 months on the 6th Mine Countermeasure Squadron, known as the Red Dragon Squadron. And that was one of the best 15 months of my life. But looking back on it, being older now, I wish I used my time more wisely. But there we go, you can't turn the clock
Hindsight,
back.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what happened? Yeah. Fast forward to 1972, qualified as a clearance diver. Spent the last 4 years of my naval career as a clearance diver. Left the Navy in 1976, and I worked right through until I retired in 2015 in the offshore oil and gas industry, first as a diver and then as a diving supervisor. And now I'm a so-called gentleman of leisure with no money.
Well, you know, it's a good life. Sounds like a very interesting life. So
It's been good to me. I've had some wonderful experiences.
yeah, I like the tie. We do have a bit of a tie with our military past. You know, both of us. You know, I worked also for the military up in the Arctic. I did 2 tours up there, Ellesmere Island, and they were 350 miles from the center of the North Pole. And I loved it so much. The first time I went up, I immediately, within 6 months, went back up for another tour. That's, you know, that was like 19 and 20, 21.
Was that cold?
Oh yeah, it's average day minus 45. And then if we got a whiteout, it would get down to about 60. Nowhere on the planet is it colder than the Antarctic. Antarctic, it can get down to 80, I think 85. I think it's the lowest temperature recorded on the planet. So unless you get up into the stratosphere and, you know, up there it gets bloody cold. But yeah, I remember I was working in the kitchens up there, and I remember you know, taking pots of boiling hot water, go outside, and you throw it in the air, and it just flashes like just a big poof.
Evaporation one.
It's just a big poof of, and it's all ice crystals. It's just it's just the most amazing. It makes a noise like a, you know, it's just amazing. Like it's wow. I didn't think that was possible. You know, you get in a shower and you come out, go like this with your hair just for a bit, and it instantly freezes. So you can have it up. Just, you know, it's just wild, man. It's very cold. And there's, you know, the Eskimos or the Inuit have 30 different words for snow, you know, to describe snow. Like, basically, you know, we have slush and, you know, powder and all that, but they have many, many more. And for me, snow has always been about sound. I can tell, like even when I'm watching videos of people walking in snow, I can tell what the snow is like just by them walking on it.
Yeah.
You know, the way they, you know, you can tell if it's gonna, and you can tell how the day is if it's really, really cold. Really, really super cold, you're gonna get that crunching, it's a certain sound, it's like crunching in the snow sound, compacting it, and it's very dry. It takes all the moisture out of the snow, basically. And, you know, Winnipeg, Manitoba was kind of like that too. Out in the prairies and that, get hoarfrost growing sideways. on metal and stuff. So it's interesting. Not like here where it's nice and hot all the time.
That's right.
Keeps your skin really nice.
I don't like the cold weather after all the
Yeah.
time in the Far East. And I spent quite when I first started commercial work, I spent best part of 10 years working in the Middle East, so I was really
interesting.
used to the heat.
Yeah, dry heat too. I bet.
Yeah.
Different type of heat. Here, it's weird. I mean, I can do I do my exercises outside. I have in my just outside, literally out my front porch, like right here. I've got a weight station, so I can do my weights, and I get a good sweat going. But if I'm working on my bike or working on a car or something or doing that, I'll be there working with tools, and the sweat's just pouring off me. I don't know why. I'm not even exerting myself, but it just does. It just.
Yeah.
You know, I've been here 20 years, and I still haven't acclimated to, like I still, for no reason, I'll just start sweating. It's just weird.
And if it's humid, I feel that draws it out of you even more.
Horribly more, yeah. That's why it's very important you make sure you get proper salt when you're here. A lot of people, and you hydrate. A lot of people can get sick here very quickly if you don't, drink. I drink about sometimes 4 liters of water a day. It's a gallon of water a day, easily. Boom, done. So if you're drinking beer or coffees and it's a diuretic, it takes the water out of you. And you'd be amazed how much water you'll lose overnight just with exhaling it. You got a fan in your room, it's always blowing the moisture off your net, so you've got to keep hydrating, always. Very, very, very important. Well, since we're here, just give a shout out to Rob from the Viper Room. Thanks for
Hosting us today.
Yeah. Why don't we get him in here for a little?
Come on,
Yeah,
Rob.
come
Don't
on,
be
Rob.
camera shy.
Come on in here and have a sit down here. Cheer play. Come on.
Come on. I'll risk it. No guarantee you won't crack the lens.
Come on. Just a quick one.
Here we are.
Lights up.
Here's
Hi,
Rob.
guys.
How are you both?
Good. How are you,
Thank
Mr.
you,
Rob?
thank you. Yes, good.
Yes, well, once again, thanks very much for hosting us for this little conversation. And if you're ever in Koh Samui, come to the Viper Room and Rob will play any music your heart desires.
Yeah, let's get Rob on the.
Well, only there is a limitation to that.
Careful of that. Did you turn it off? Okay, good. As long as that blue light's going. Yes, Rob, the proprietor of the famous Viper Room here in Lemay. And it's just up a little bit from the where the Outback used to be, or where Cozy Corner Burgers are. There's that sort of T-junction there. I guess it's east?
South.
Sort of southy?
South.
So down, well, yeah, you're south.
I'm south, yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, you can just always look on Google Maps and just type in Viper Room, Lemay, and boom. Location will pop right up.
It's a hotel right on the corner. What's it called?
Holiday Park.
Holiday
Hotel.
Park
Yeah,
Hotel,
yeah. Holiday Park.
which is currently under renovation, but it appears all work has stopped for whatever reason.
It happens from time. Could be through the Chinese holidays here, so.
And they just had Chinese New Year.
If you go down to the Wan Yu statue down in Watanan, massive offerings to the god of war and knowledge, Wan Yu. Anyway, bring it back to the Viper Room. Tell us about the events that used to happen here in the Viper Room.
Well, since I started up, it started off a bit slow. But eventually people were asking for live music and stuff, so it was I sort of was toying with the idea, and then I was doing a charity motorbike run one day, and I bumped into Joe. He was playing at this venue, and so we got talking, and I said that my bar was not too far away from where he lived, so I said, would he like to come and
That was at the airport, right? Near the
play?
airport.
That's right.
Yeah.
Would he
Chinese food there.
Would he like to come and play? So he came in. He found the bar, and we came in, and we chatted. Whatever, got on fine, and so we every now and again we used to put on these gigs here, and as long as I had my regulars who were coming, and they all loved it and enjoyed the evening. And
Some nights.
it was a very entertaining night. So every night, yeah.
Some night this place would be packed. There'd be 50, 60 people in here. Like, especially for the birthday, huh?
Yeah.
Just packed, like, whoop.
And also for the my MC anniversary parties and that, Joe would come and play for that as well.
We had a lot of fun. Hopefully we'll get back to those days again. Get some rocking and rolling going in here. Coming soon as things work out. We'll
Still pulling out of the post-COVID era.
Yeah, it's quite
Yes,
the hangover.
it's
Quite
still-
the hangover that.
It's still early days yet after 3 years of lockdown
horrible.
and restrictions, so we're slowly getting back on our feet again now after that period of time.
Yeah, I can't wait to put together. I've got such a collage of videos of what it was like when it was locked down here, and I want to intermingle it with new video of how busy it is. And people, I see the comments online. People go, "Whoa, it doesn't look that busy." I tell you what, it's a hell of a lot busier than it used to be.
I think it's
Yeah.
taken everyone by surprise
Yeah.
on how busy it has become
It is like-
in a short space of time.
Yeah, and it is relatively a short space of time but I was also amazed at how quickly it became silent in a short space of time. It took like a week and 2 weeks and things were gone,
Yeah.
shut right up. I mean, to drive down Chewang, to ride from one end of Chewang to the other and see nothing, that was eye-opening. And Lamai too, Lamai was the same. Everything shut up and closed. And there were suicides over this. People died. It wasn't funny.
No.
It was a terrible, and I'm sure it's relative. Everyone went through it everywhere in the world, right? It's just crazy.
Well, a lot of people were, grasping at straws, and some of those straws didn't materialise, and like you said, it pushed people over the edge.
Right over there. I know in my area in Tonquit there were 3 people couldn't handle the pressure, and that was that. Word gets out very quick, so.
Yeah.
So it's a somber note, but I mean, again, it's worldwide, right? It's relative worldwide.
It was so bad on the island at one time, they even had food banks to feed the locals.
This guy helped out too, very, very much.
Yes, yeah. We.
I remember bringing him chum poo. Remember I brought my chum poo?
Yes, yeah.
I brought him this, I actually got a video of it, I think, on my YouTube channel. You can look for the chum poo. It's actually, it turns out, I found out from his girlfriend, was that Daw at the time?
Case.
It was Case. She was telling me, delicacy, worth a lot of money. I'm like, what? Apparently, yeah, it was. And where I live, I got a tree full of it. And every year I used to just rake them and use them as fertilizer. What the hell? People eat these things? So I brought in like 2 big water jugs full of it, and we gave it to happy to.
We acted as a base, as a food handout, so that we could distribute it.
How many people did you have? You said hundreds, right?
Well, me and Kay stayed up for 3 days, 3 nights solid, making little food parcels and baskets and that. To give out to the people who'd lost their jobs and had their families here and children who were trying to survive on nothing at all then.
A lot of Myanmarians too.
Yeah,
Myanmarians.
hotels and resorts closed down, and there's no social security system here for them, so eat somehow.
Yeah.
And,
there were a few the resorts. Some of the resorts would keep a skeletal crew, and they were lucky. They were the very, very lucky ones. They would, because even during the lockdown, the beds would get moldy, the rooms would get moldy. They have to have some sort of upkeep on them, so they would have a skeleton crew in there. But again, they were the lucky ones because they had a job and they could. But I think hello, is this on? Check 1 2. I think places like Family Marts, and during this time too, Family Mart decided to pull the plug too, right? So all the Family Marts have closed now in Thailand. They're being replaced by Super Cheap. You'll see lots of Super Cheaps popping up. If you check my video, my YouTube channel, Keeping It Real in Thailand, there's a video I made on all the Family Marts on Koh Samui. Something like 50 something of them, 59 or something. And I went around and visited all of them, every single one of them, old and new. And now they're all shut. They're all
I think
closed.
there's 2 left.
Yeah, and they'll be closed. They'll eventually close. I think there was one up in my area. No, not my area. Where was it? I was just riding around last week and saw that this one had closed too. Finally closed. It's I think somewhere in the Ban Rack area, and I can't remember, but yep, they'll all be gone. End of an era. Family Mart.
Yeah.
7-Eleven.
Makes it very awkward for the tourists now to go and grab snacks and small drinks and
Well, they got
cigarettes and that.
7-Eleven. And
Oh, there's 2 in town, Joe. There's only
7-Elevens?
2.
There's only 2 in Lamai right now?
Yeah.
Of course, they're
On the beach road.
They're building more up in my area.
There's only 2 on the beach road.
Wow.
And a big C, a mini big C.
Well, this is a good opportunity
So,
for little mom and pop places to open up, so.
It's too expensive in town. The rent's too expensive on the
Well,
beach road. for
that's a big problem here. The rent. It's always the landlords that make the money here. You own it, you make it. Yeah.
Well, shall we conclude with you serving me a single beer?
Yes, certainly.
Thank you. I know
Went to college for it.
when I was talking to Johnny, he was looking forward to
Yeah, Johnny.
having a session on the drums in the sound studio
Yeah.
with you
Oh, yeah.
playing the guitar
Oh yeah, he'll.
and me filming it all
He'll come. He'll be coming.
eventually.
Johnny, if you're watching this, hey, buddy, we know you're coming, buddy. Still play your song. The Legend of Johnny Crossdraw.
Sing a beer, Cap?
We're out of singer.
Out of singer,
Tiger, Leo, Tiger.
Well, if you don't got to sing high, you get the Leos.
Right,
Yep, beautiful day out. Think I'll go for a
Okay.
little ride.
this is the real goodbye. Over and out.
Keeping it real in Thailand.
Keeping it real in Thailand.